So, Hooded, thank you so much for joining me this evening, taking me through what is this incredible world of Futureverse. Link up, because the learning curve for this can be so daunting for some people. And being the kind, generous person that you are, you've offered to take me through the journey of this particular world. So, if you don't mind, can you just set us off on what on earth is Futureverse and how do we get involved?
Okay, no, thanks for having us, mate. How you doing? Yeah, so it's a lot to take in. It's hard to know, for me, where to start. It's been a long time. I think we're coming up 4 years of this ecosystem growing. So there's been many changes over that time. I don't know how much you've been sort of following. So basically, you want to come over to this Future Pass. If you're a new person to this ecosystem, you'd want to come over here. FuturePass.app. Updated it recently, so it's a bit easier to follow. It's huge. You've got all their experiences here, just so you can get a general view of everything. You've got
all of these games here. Are they all applications of Futureverse now? Are they built within the team, or is it people externally that come in and actually build these games and onboard onto this? And it's a blockchain, isn't that right?
Yeah,
Futureverse is its own blockchain.
Yeah, so it's built on the Root network. And these sort of original apps, these are all sort of built by the team. They're all different AI tools, essentially. And then there's some games that use said AI tools. So you can sort of test it all out yourself as you go along. So this is the best place to explore the ecosystem.
Okay. And Hooded, which of the games at the moment or which of the platforms are best at interacting with to generate the rewards or to get involved with this particular ecosystem? Is there a starting point for someone to say, right, I'm going to go allocate some root tokens, and then what else they need really to get involved with this ecosystem? How would they start off?
Okay, so they had a thing called the Future Pass, which is your wallet, and in there is a future score. So it would be based on your engagement score and your collectible score combined, and that score would give you your score here, and then basically the more you interact with the network and their quests, they would pay you out root tokens. And then the only way to get that collectible score would be to have their NFTs, which they've released over the last 2-3 years. The fluffs, the bears, all that sort of malarkey. So you basically, everything you do would add to this score, and they've just revamped all this to give you the root rewards program. So everything you do is being tracked and giving you points towards incentive to use the network.
Okay. And RP is root points, is that correct?
That is right. Yep. So every single thing you do is going to bump up a few little points on here on chain activity.
Excellent. And root points are redeemable how? Like, where on earth would we use these particular points, or is it just like a tally allocated to our particular account?
Yeah, I don't know the math. Obviously, it's only been out 2 days, so
okay,
it works in monthly cycles. Mm-hmm. Every cycle, you'll be able to claim your allocation. So yeah.
Great. So I'm a newbie, really interested in this framework, really interested in this network. Where do I start? I've made an account. I've got a root pass. Where do I go from there?
Well, I mean, I would start personally looking at the tools they've got. Some of the AI tools, I'd say either the meme machine, because it's pretty fun, and that can generate a few root points just by using it. Obviously, there'll be a bit of gas, I think, to buy the credits to use it, and that's just a bit of fun. The Gen Music's really interesting. I think it's like the world's first, is it licensed AI or trained AI?
Yeah,
it's trained on licensed music. So yeah.
So have you heard of Sora?
I have, yes.
Have you played with that?
I have not, no, but I've seen it.
It's pretty wild. It can do some phenomenal stuff. So I'm assuming that's a similar kind of application where did it generate like a bespoke song that's never been done before, or?
Yeah, so I mean, in its early stages, you could be put in a few prompts and then it will just generate that sort of thing. It's very early, but it's well worth having a look into. And it's
So what happens with this then? Does this mint them onto the blockchain, or?
It can do, yeah. Once you publish them, it does actually mint them on the root network.
Okay, so there's a mixture of applications there. It's not just gaming; it's actually integrating things like AI and other aspects that we may use in our everyday lives. So let's just say we have a filter through and we game a bit, we prompt. Where do we go from there? Once we've integrated ourselves ever so slightly into the ecosystem, where else should we go, or what else is worth collecting? Maybe an NFT. Do we need NFTs currently if we've only just opened up our account?
Well, I mean, it depends what your budget is. It's a good time to get in on the NFTs, and they will start earning you the collectible score every single day, or every period of, I think it's a few days. You'll see your score rising, which again will earn you more root points to claim.
Okay.
But at the minute they've got the Third Kingdom going on, and they're about to launch episode 2. That's something the entire community have been playing for, I think, the last 6 months now. I say playing, we've been grinding it out.
That's
Tirelessly clicking.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Is it a mobile click game, or
Pretty much, yeah. You know,
through the Third Kingdom, if you could?
you remember back in the days on Wax, you'd have Alien Worlds or something. You come and click once a day, go off on a mission. But this is sort of, you're placing mines, and then you're trying to do them up to get better production and capacity, and then you've got a quota where you've got to mine all these different tokens, and then you can prestige, and you just basically do that forever, and hopefully you'll get paid for it for one day.
You're so you click into the Third Kingdom header just to get an overview of what this is all about. And I know we've covered this on other videos across the years on this particular channel, but yeah, it's how. So you need, is there a land purchase, or is it just?
Yeah, you do need land. You need some land blocks, but you can play without having the actual NFT. The main important thing is the prisms. The prisms are the thing that farms the energy that allows you to mine root in the end. It's a bit long.
So you mine root. Eventually, the end goal is mining the native token on the blockchain.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So in terms of acquiring root, then obviously we're going to need to invest something to get something. So we look at a wallet that's been generated and how we'd go about allocating that particular native token? Because can you purchase it through the wallet once you've developed your account, or do you need to go onto a SEX or a DEX to purchase root itself?
So you'd set up your future pass through MetaMask, and then you would just simply go to your stuff, stuff here, tokens, and then you'd get your root wallet there, and that's that basically. But to get it, it's a bit of a different story. It's on a few exchanges. Some exchanges have it as an ERC20, some have it as native. So just don't go buying the wrong one and think you can send it straight to the future pass, because a few people have lost tokens that way. So don't. And
so what does Future Pass take primarily? Is it native?
Yeah, so when you're on Future Pass, anything on the root network, it's via Future Pass on the root network. And the wallet address looks a bit like this. It's OXFFF. Well, it's miles long. You cut that bit retarded. But yeah, it's the long wallet like usual there. So you get that, but yeah, I usually buy from Mexi because it's native, so you can send it straight into that Future Pass and start using it straight away.
Okay. Sorry, some shit's going down. There you go. Okay, so we've got some tokens. We've bought them from various areas. We've imported them into our wallet, and we're now going to integrate ourselves into the community and essentially upgrade our point score, integrate with applications if we need to. What is the current situation in regards to Think and the Futureverse, and essentially Fluff World and all these other games that they've and portfolios that they've got within this particular blockchain?
I think it's like a merge of Altered State, which is Futureverse tech, and 6079, which is Jesse and Co. They're
So I
quite.
think is actually part of Futureverse because the genesis is from the CEO of Futureverse. Is that correct?
Yeah, they've teamed up with the team from 6079. So yeah, it's an amalgamation of the two, I guess, and they're going to be using the Asto token to generate the Think token.
Okay. And is the Think Tank token going to replace anything to do with Root, or is it going to integrate at all? Or
Yeah, it's not going to replace Root. No, I think it's going to replace Asto eventually. I think, but yeah, it should be interoperable with the Root network and everything else.
what's Asta? Sorry, Herbert, what's the
Asto is altered state token. So that was their token before Think came along. Altered state is the AI side of Futureverse.
Mm-hmm.
So Asto powered that ecosystem.
And what's the integration with XRP? Because there's a huge XRP community involved with Futureverse, and there are reasons behind that. What are they?
It's scalability, really, isn't it? And cost of use. It's super fast. It's just what they needed, and it is the native gas token for the Root network.
It's the native gas token for the Root network. Oh, so this is built. It's got its own blockchain, but it's using XRP as like a plugin on the side.
I presume so. Yeah. It's in any gas network. You can actually select any token you want, but default is XRP. So you could find whatever was sort of cheapest gas on the day if you wanted to.
That's really interesting. So when you say, is it limitless in terms of the tokens you can pick, or is there a certain portfolio and bag that it offers?
I mean, it depends what sort of app you're using. I know on Tradeverse you can use various different tokens. You can even use the Zerpmon token as gas.
Where's Tradeverse?
Tradeverse is, let me bring that one up. This is the Root Network marketplace from Gen 3 Games, which is the guys behind Zerpmon on the XRPL. So this is where you can find all the NFTs on the network.
Of course, it's an NFT trading platform as well.
Yeah, and they're going to gamify it and things.
I was going to say, it looks a bit like it's just an OpenSea of sorts for not just the Root network, or just the Root network.
And XRP eventually. Well, yeah, it does. You can use XRP as well. Yep. So it's going to be sort of XRP and Root. It is a bit like OpenSea. Yeah, I think their overall vision was to be kind of like theme, like a marketplace, like theme.
Cool. Yeah. So it's still a work in progress by the looks of things. I still want to integrate and work with other blockchains and bring people on.
Yep, they got a DEX on here that you can use, which is real handy. There's a launch pad as well, so if you're...
Well, that would be a great place to get Root, wouldn't it?
Yes, of course. But you'd have to send it in from an exchange into your Futureverse address.
Yeah, that makes sense. But if it was I suppose, would that need wrapping there?
It gets a bit complicated there, but you can send it on to the... Yeah, there's it's called EOA on the Root network, so I think it's Ethereum online account. So you basically go from your Future Pass, you then send it to your ETH wallet of the MetaMask, and it would open up. Yeah, you'll have to go and have a look. It just goes on and on and on.
So essentially, it feels like another wrapped version of the native token, whether it's Ethereum or does it take Bitcoin as a gas?
No,
I'm not surprised. When you said it takes,
yeah,
I just wanted to clarify. It'll probably only take faster chains than the standard 10-minute wait that we get with a Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, they say any token. I mean, it's any token on the Root network. Right, let's have a look at what tokens we can use as gas if we were going to make a transaction. So
yeah,
say we're going to swap some Root for XRP.
Okay.
You go to swap here. You select gas token. So you got Root. So here we go. So you got Root, XRP, Silo, Asto, which will soon be Think, or Zerp, which is the token for Zerpmon, which is their trading card game on the XRPL.
Okay, so slowly the native tokens or the tokens that are being distributed amongst some of these platforms, applications, and games are actually able to be used for gas on the Root network for transactions.
Correct. And that's also brings me to another thing, which is on Third Kingdom, you're mining resources, which are actually tokens that live on chain. So you could essentially, use mine.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great utility. And I know that other platforms are attempting to do this. There was a particular blockchain game called Futureverse that has made its own blockchain called Elysium, and it uses PYR to fuel lava, and the lava the gas. But the fact that there's only one particular gas token amongst an array of games in their suite, and it's not doing so well, and there's reasons behind that, and we won't get into that today. But the fact that there's multiple tokens being able to be used for gas is actually really encouraging. It's a great utility input.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really innovative, actually. And Think is, where does Think come into all of this? Because there's a lot of hype around Think. There's serious legwork coming in behind it. It's clearly, it's been rebranded to a degree if Asta is becoming Think. But what's the hope for that? Is that going to become the AI builder that generates more worlds or integrates more interoperability between these platforms?
Yeah, I think for Futureverse, it's sort of the end game, because they always talked about having some sort of artificial intelligence be inside your avatars, or inside your fluffs, so they would be sort of 3D agents in the metaverse. So that was always the vision I remember from the start that they spoke about, and I think with 6079 and the merger, they've both got things to give them hopefully more success. That they're better together than they were separate. They're more of a well-oiled machine with Think, more aligned. So that's I think that's that's also the route they went.
Fair enough. And when you say they're going to become agents within, let's say, Bluff World, for example, is that going to be, when you go up to an NPC and it actually has a certain role within the game and it doesn't actually move or operate outside of that role that's been programmed, do these AI agents come in and start making it way more interactive, or is there a much, much bigger picture involved with Think?
Yeah, it makes it, a lot more interactive. They'd essentially be thinking for themselves, wouldn't they? So say you had an NPC in Skyrim and it was a market when you go up and click on it, but it would be stocked with items, infinite items or whatever. But this agent in the metaverse might have to go and get those items himself from TTK or something, to stay stocked up. So it's wild, really. I mean, if you heard that podcast from a few weeks ago, stuff that they've got planned, it almost sounds otherworldly.
I did, yeah. I had a good long listen to it, and if anyone wants to give that a go, then it'll be in the link in the description below or on the card that's just popped up on the screen here. But as a whole, what I took from it was that it's going to completely revolutionize everything that we know about our current structure of gaming, our current structure of blockchains, micropayments like we've spoken about earlier. It really is a brand new frontier, and I don't know where it goes. I just know that there's insane amounts of opportunity, but I think ignorance is not going to be your friend in this. You're going to get left behind if you don't have some sort of finger on the pulse. So the fact that Root Network is already looking to aggressively integrate these kinds of tech leaps, that's encouraging, because the ones that aren't or can't are gonna really struggle in the future.
Sure, yeah, there'd be a big difference between your centralized AI or your decentralized AI. If you don't own your AI will probably end up owning you. It's the saying I've heard.
So we've gone through how to find Root, the Root Network, and Futureverse, getting a wallet together, and onboarding the native tokens to use within the DEX to acquire NFTs. What else is there in this incredible ecosystem that we need to know about?
I think the most exciting thing that we've got to look forward to this year is going to be Open and the READYVERSE. Have you seen much of that?
I've seen bits of the READYVERSE, yeah, but I'm not. Look, I'm nowhere near as experienced as yourself and the channel in terms of what READYVERSE has to offer. So there's READYVERSE and Futureverse.
So when they rolled up the company, there was another company formed with the creators of the Ready Player One film,
Yeah.
and they named it the READYVERSE.
Nice. Everything diverse. And
I know, yeah. Tradeverse, READYVERSE. They're gonna well, you know, the IP in that film is just insane, isn't it?
oh, well, it's where my name came from.
Well, there we go.
It's where it was meant to be Ready Player One, and it was taken. So I thought Metaverse Gamer One will have to do.
Exactly. So yeah. So I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest plays out there, no? It doesn't take.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get it over the line, so the IP technically then has been bought. How does that work with like film distribution? Because wasn't it a Spielberg film?
Yeah, Warner Brothers, isn't it? So
Yeah, but how have Warner Brothers just relinquished the IP to them, or?
they've partnered with Warner Brothers. The whole thing's one.
See, that's huge. Why is everywhere?
I know. I mean, it was all over. You know, what's the big articles that come out? Forbes and stuff. It was all over that.
Jesus.
It's almost like back, you know, back end of 2021, 2022. It felt like a lot of influencers on Twitter were sort of, they'd only speak about what they were getting paid to speak about, and Futureverse have always been about building wide rather than straight up, you know, which is
Yeah, there's a lot of KOLs online, but hey, let's take a dive in. So
Yeah.
let's go into Futureverse or ReadyVerse or whichever it is you're about to show us now.
all right. Let's get READYVERSE up.
Because you've shown me bits of this before, but again, after having talked to you about this officially, obviously we're communicating back and forth, but you've been hyping this up to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I think I understand. And then another thing comes in, and this is why I got so confused. Futureverse comes in, you're like, hang on a minute, what's this? And now I know that they're all interconnected in some way. It makes a lot of sense.
That's right. So Futureverse, you know, they're going to be the pipeline, all the infrastructure that runs in the background, very much like Riffle like to do with the financial infrastructure, you know.
Yeah. So this is the opening site for ReadyVerse.
Yeah, well, this is open. READYVERSE is that's another thing, to be fair, but it's sort of linked to this, but it's two separate things on Epic. You have to wishlist both of them. You can wish open and READYVERSE. READYVERSE, I think fluff holders and bear holders are getting access in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really? So it's soon?
Yeah, and that means you get access to your land plots that we minted about 3 years ago now. Finally, you know, paying 1.1 for
Oh, wow.
a common bit of land, you know. It's
Hey, look, I know people got, like, I'm looking at you alluvium holders. I threw you guys like 15 ETH for a bit of land. Like, we were all in that. We'll win that.
yeah. So we're gonna
Open and ReadyVerse different, but are integrated within the grander scheme of the IP within the root network blockchain.
yeah. So I think you'll be able to sort of have a social space in READYVERSE. So you'll be in your burrow, and I think you can just like jump through a portal and you'd end up in open in a battle royale. I think that's the idea. It'll all be sort of connected. And
Can we have a look through this? Can we have a write down? So we can go onto Epic Games right now, wishlist this in, and if you've got the necessary NFTs, is it too late for a newcomer, or is it just worth waiting until this is available? Get the NFTs now? Would we still be able to register, or is it not really possible? Was a snapshot taken?
no, you can still get fluffs or party bears now. They're pretty cheap now as well. I think 0.1 ETH. It's probably still going to set you back a few $100s. But yeah, that's how you will get access to the READYVERSE. For now, or yeah, just wishlist and wait for early access. I suppose it's going to be soon.
Amazing. That makes me quite excited because it means we're going to get some really nice, unique footage come through.
Yeah,
that people would have seen before, and leading into 2025. Can't believe what I'm saying. It's 2025 now, but that's cool to see because we expect big things from this, don't we?
Yeah. You can imagine who's going to build in these biomes. You know, they've just released in READYVERSE Shibuya City in Tokyo. They're sort of Let me try and find that because again, that's another Twitter page. Shibuya
And there's some, if you look at the bottom of your screen, folks, that's some footage, which is potential. What's going to come?
Yeah, that's early access, pre-alpha gameplay. So,
looks very, what was that blockchain game that's been released on Avalanche? Off the Grid.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite off the grid-esque.
Yeah, apparently so, yeah.
Yeah.
They've teamed up with the council or whoever's in charge out there in Tokyo, and rebuilt the city inside the READYVERSE. So I'll just play this for you.
Wow. It's a great promo. So when they integrate this, how is this going to relate to Open? Because Open looks like it's, as you say, you jump in and you're in some sort of battle royale or a melee or, insert synergy or something in here. What's this? Is this just meant to be like a cultural walk around the pub? Is this like a place where you come and live for a bit?
Yeah, I think they're built as social hubs. So they'll probably do events there and things.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And is this the land that you've bought that you're able to access and populate now?
Nope. They haven't been seen other than sort of the news the other day. So we've only seen a glimpse of those, but hopefully we'll show a bit more in the next video.
So Ready Player One, for anyone that hasn't watched that is about a guy in the modern world, and it's gone to shit, but there is a safe haven in this metaverse that everyone within the planet lives in, right? And what this is the IP to that, which is now linked to Root Network. The whole ethos of this, though, is you're able to link anything from any culture and any game into this one unstoppable kind of metaverse. How will Root Network integrate other blockchains? From your understanding, like obviously I know you don't have all the answers, but how will Root Network integrate various platforms from, say, ETH chain, probably one of the biggest chains still trying to run games at the moment, and even Web 2 games? How are they going to get this onto Root Network?
That is the big question, isn't it? I think for a start, a Root Network's been built with gaming. It's been built for gaming rather than, most of these chains that have come out were built, exchanging money. They weren't really built. No one built them, really with blockchain gaming in mind from the start, did they? So that's the upper hand that Futureverse have had, I suppose. So many years in the game.
It's a valid point. I mean, Root Network is known for its microtransactions, you mentioned.
Yeah, or at least, it's potential to scale using tech like XRP within its tech.
Okay. It's interesting. I would be buzzing to see more collaborations were brought on where it wasn't just a suite within the Root Network or Futureverse or READYVERSE or Open, but it was actually trying to expand various assets or IPs, similar to what Sandbox are trying to do. I don't know if you've kept an eye on them, but they have all these networks with all these different cultures and groups, and you had Snoop Dogg, and they made a lot of NFTs with Snoop Dogg, and you could run around in this big open world as some of his NFTs. But yeah, it looks like legwork has been pretty phenomenal. It also doesn't look like it's gained the recognition it deserves for now. But that, for me, says that there's so many irons in the fire. They've split the community across so many different areas that when it all does come into one, we'll have this like Uber following, kind of like a following on steroids.
Yeah, little cult following. I think I agree. I don't even think marketing's ramped up on their half yet, and I think they're sort of just waiting and just getting everything built, all the groundwork laid down, and maybe when they hit the button, when they're firing, when that Open starts coming out, and you've got the new Ready Player 2 film, is it?
I didn't know the other one was coming out, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
where's all that going to go? How is that going to interact with our NFTs that are part of that universe?
Yeah.
Do we get invited to see the premiere for Holding Fluff? I don't know.
And that's a valid point actually you bring up, because a lot of these projects will sell hype, sell promises, and nothing gets delivered. And then you have a disgruntled community which leaves, and ultimately a lot of assets, capital, and attention leaves with it. But if you keep, I'm not saying no promises, very, very realistic expectations, you can actually then nurture that community to span over 5 and 10 years, and there's not too many upset individuals that shit on the project. You tend to be able to get that longevity. So I appreciate that they haven't pushed too much marketing with laying that groundwork, because there's nothing worse than having unfulfilled promises.
Sure.
It happens all the time, to be fair. And it's interesting to see that you've got, I mean, it's vast. It's so vast. After speaking with you now, I understand it a lot better, that there's the Root Network thing and a suite of games and applications on that network. I think you've got IPs like Futureverse, READYVERSE, and Open.
Yeah, Tencent, Alibaba Cloud, Reebok. They got, partners galore. Ripple, Warner Music.
So where do these guys integrate into this particular network then?
Who's that? Warner Brothers?
Yeah, all of them. But where do they come in? Like, what's their?
I suppose they all play their parts. I mean, you got, Tencent are massive, aren't they, with mobile gaming, and they're pushing into AI mobile gaming, etc. So that's huge in kind.
And things like Reebok.
Yep, it's another thing. Oh, we could be here all weekend talking about this. They got like an AI chatbot on Instagram, so that Reebok Impact, if you DM that on Instagram with a like a screenshot or a selfie or your favorite picture, it will turn that into a pair of trainers which you can mint, and then you can wear them in the open.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. Again, innovation, clever.
Yeah,
I'm a big F1 fan. Like, I love a bit of F1, and Williams have partnered with Kraken, and then they released a load of NFTs that you could collect. Nothing to do necessarily with the F1. It was just a branding of Williams. But all these weird space creatures just had a bit of Williams branding somewhere on them. And then they picked a bunch of random people who minted and put it on the front, I think it was the front wing or the back wing of the Williams car for one of the races. It's this real world integration, or that, you can do something with Adidas or Reebok, sorry, and they can put that on your NFT. It's that kind of bleed I love. So obviously we know Ripple, okay, that's Reebok. Unity makes sense. We know about Warner Brothers. Alibaba Cloud, I'm assuming that's going to be hosting. Well, look, Hooded, we can end it here, to be honest. Really appreciate your time today. I really appreciate some guidance. I think that this has been under the radar for a lot of people. And in that respect, I hope this brings some sort of clarity. I know that CryptoPunk.gg is heavily into this. Metaverse Gaming 1 actually hasn't been, and we'll keep an eye on this in the future. But last one for the people. Is there anything else you think they should know, or where they should go to check you out, to check this project out?
Head over to the Futureverse Explorer, make a Future Pass, and then get exploring. Have a little look at what's on the network. Go and check out Arcadia, and then we'll tell you a little bit more about that in the future. But yeah, just get involved and let us know in the comments how you're getting on.
Awesome. And that's me wrapping up Metaverse Gamer 1. You can catch us on our channel as well. We'll be pushing this kind of content in the future. So same as I did there, just come check us out, see what you think in the comments, and we'll see you all in the next one.